So welcome to my first webinar on blasting the belly bloat. This is a new one that I really wanted to put out because of all the information that there currently is out there and all the things that people can do on a regular basis to provide some relief to their gut system. This is one of the number one questions that I tend to get from people is, I've got this bloating, I've got this irritation. How do I get rid of it? What are some simple strategies I can do? Do I need to see a professional? Do I need to go take some medication, see a doctor, or what do I need to do? And quite often, the information is pretty simple, it's pretty solid, and it works really well. Now, my name is John Hillman. I'm going to say right off the top, I am not a doctor. I'm not a dietitian, nutritionist, naturopath, or anybody in those regards. I don't have a degree in nutrition or anything like that. I've spent a lot of years studying this information, and I have a lot of clients who deal with it on a regular basis. So as a result, this turned into more of a practical solution guide for practically everyone. These are the basic things that you can start with when you're having some of these concerns. But you also need to remember there may be a time that you need to visit a professional for some care. So that might be your doctor, might be a dietitian, might be your nutritionist or a naturopath, whatever it might be. These are not used to diagnose or treat any disease processes. So if you're dealing with Crohn's or colitis or anything like that, this is not necessarily the thing that you want to be digging into. You want to be dealing with something more professional, dealing with like the doctor, a dietitian. Okay. Now this is a big topic, first of all, and I'm going to say that this is the stuff that has worked for me best of all, because just like you, just like everyone else, I've got gut problems at times, and I've got those irritations, and sometimes you feel like 30 pounds heavier, just full of bloat, and you're not sure what's going to go. You don't know if it's safe to go out inside in public. And it can be kind of an embarrassing thing, depending on some of the noises that are coming out of your system, or even just that bloated feeling. It's kind of a red flag that there is something definitely going on in your digestive system. That doesn't mean that you're going to be dealing with a pathology or disease or anything. Sometimes it's just something's a little stuck or something's not working right, or you're missing some basic nutritional qualities in your system. Okay. So the big question is it actually gas or is it something else? Okay. Second, is it upper or lower belly bloating? Because there is a difference. The upper belly bloating is kind of more around your rib cage. Lower belly is kind of like that hanging low feeling, that just heavy feeling. And I want to give you also some simple solutions to give you some relief. And again, there's no guarantee that these things do work because the gut system is a pretty vast system. There are a lot of things going on, so you need to be aware that there's potentially something else going on. So first of all, let's ask the question, if you're dealing with bloating or any irritation and gut problems, you got to ask yourself, is it gas or no gas? Okay, because there's big fundamental differences there. Gas, you're going to notice. Basically, I ask my clients, is it coming out? Do you feel bloated and it keeps coming out? Great. Okay, so now we have some gas. Do you feel bloated, but there's no gas coming out? Okay, now we've got something different. In this case, you're dealing probably more with, too much poop in your system, or you have some sort of blockage, some impingement, something that's kind of just irritating it so it can't get out quickly and is delaying the movement. It could also be postural, but that's a whole other story right there. So let's get started with talking about gas up top. Okay, now if you're getting the gas and it's coming up, like in the form of belching or burping, or just that heaviness, that feeling in your system right there, the typical villain in this regard is usually the pH system or your enzymes. Okay, now the pH system of your gut is one of the main things for breaking down some of the foods and starting to get the entry into the upper levels of the gut system. That can be a little problematic. And when the pH system is not where it's supposed to be, you can start having some problems, such as, the heartburn, that irritation in the gut, the GERD, all those types of feelings. And that's one of the times that people start taking a look at medical intervention. But you can also do some things that are going to help contribute to that on a more natural level. The other thing that can be causing it is enzymes. So the basic things that, your stomach, your liver, your gallbladder, and pancreas are all releasing to break down some of that food so we can get it churning and moving through your entire digestive system. So what are the practical solutions when you have gas up top is, first of all, you want to take a look at some digestive enzymes. The second thing you'd be doing is some greens or some electrolytes. Now, the greens are going to be wonderful for helping with some of the pH system of the body. And the electrolytes, again, are going to be important for helping with some of the nerve function. So if you're not getting the proper nutrition through like minerals and such, salts, minerals, magnesiums, all these types of things, you can have some imbalance in the absorption of your gut system, and it turns into a real mess with some inflammatory processes and irritation like that. Now, on the other hand, if you're getting gas out the bottom end, that's a whole different story. And that typical villain, again, can be the pH system of your gut system. Very different from the pH of your blood system. The pH system can be affected by the things that you eat on a regular basis. And in fact, the right side of your intestinal system is one of the big determining factors of your pH system. And if that imbalance occurs down in that area, it can actually kill off a lot of the probiotic system on the left-hand side, on the digestive, on the descending colon. So in this regard, it's going to be a lot of large and small intestine. And these are the ones that you kind of worry about going in public. You don't really want to be going into an elevator with anybody who's having some of these problems. Okay. So the practical solution for a lot of these things is to really try and support this by balancing out and improving the pH of the system, again, with digestive enzymes and some greens. But because we're also dealing with your large intestine and fermentation of all the remaining food in your system, you really want to make sure the probiotic system is supported and strong. So fiber is a good thing because it is an active prebiotic that helps protect your gut system and also gives it the basic food and nourishment that it needs, and then a good, potent probiotic. Now, when it comes to probiotics, there's about 1 million of them out there. And in many regards, unless you're going to do some sort of testing to see what you're deficient in and what you're missing, it's kind of play it by ear and see what works best for you. Okay. The ones that I personally like to use and recommend for people who are having gut problems is something that has a prebiotic in it as well. Now, a prebiotic, again, is a fiber, so it protects those little buggers in your system from the digestive system so they can get to where they're needed the most and start doing their job to start giving you better gut health. Again, a lot of people take probiotics all the time, and I really don't think that is something that's beneficial. It should be a short-term use, a concentrated short-term use, because otherwise you're not improving your system. You're just continually putting something into the system. Now, there is another problem, okay? What do you do if you feel gassy and bloated, but it's not coming out? It's not coming out the top. It's not coming out the bottom. You just have that kind of lead weight sitting in your gut system. Nobody wants that feeling, but you can't get rid of it sometimes. You're trying to burp it up, you're trying to push it out, but nothing is happening. So what's going on in this regard? Now, there's going to be two different considerations in this one. First of all, are you constipated? And more importantly, do you feel constipated, higher up? Is that bloating really high up and you can't get anything out? Now, the typical villain here is slow motility, which is the churning and the pushing of your large intestine, squeezing things through the entire system. Okay, so one of the things that will cause this is intestinal tension, more around the liver on the right-hand side or the stomach on the left-hand side, which is affecting how well it transfers across your belly. Okay, so the large intestine at this point in time should have a nice smiley face, little round, curvy loop as it drops down using gravity to pull it over to the other side. That's why a characteristic healthy poop has that big curly smiley sausage look. Okay, and it helps with the transition of digested food from this side over to the other side. But if we lose that little loop here and the intestinal system gets pulled up high, now you have to work across the system and you don't have gravity doing half the work for you. So now it's that peristalsis squeezing movement that has to do the work, and it can cause more compaction, more heavy thickness there. It's what I tend to call the poop bullet. Okay, and if you've had those IBS type symptoms, you know what I mean. You're very constipated, and finally it passes, and then it's very loose for the next day or two, and then it starts backing up again. It's because it starts getting stuck and tied up in here and gets more and more compressed. It's a gross topic, but hey, we're all adults here, so let's get serious about it. Now, what are some of the things you can do? Now, again, if you're dealing with this constipation, you still want to be doing with some of the greens and fiber, okay? Because this is still going to be an important thing with helping balance and the mobility and the movement of the system. But one thing that a lot of people really don't know about is magnesium is a natural, mild laxative for the whole system. Not only is magnesium great for helping with, stressors or muscle cramps and spasms, it's wonderful for helping moving the gut system around. Now, the one that works best tends to be magnesium citrate, but you can talk to a professional about that and see which one would best suit your needs. But if you talk to somebody at a health food system, they can help you there too. Health food store, they can help with that. The other things that you can do typically are some nice abdominal massage, always going around from the right side to left side to help move things around. This is something we tend to do on babies quite a bit because they can get a little stuck up, especially when we start putting food into the system. But it can happen to grown-ups too. It's not uncommon, actually. And finally, this is kind of like the cure-all for a lot of things is take a look at some lemon water in the morning. Okay. Now, lemon water in the morning is just taking a glass of warm water, squeezing half of a lemon, and drinking it down. The lemon water acts as a stimulant to the liver, okay, because it is an acid. The liver tries to counterbalance it to keep nice homeostasis in your gut system. So it releases some enzymes, it releases bile, which is a natural cleaning agent for your gut system. So it flushes everything out and it'll get you moving pretty quickly. Now, if it irritates your gut, maybe hold off on the lemon water or try using it with some of the digestive enzymes as well. Now, if you're feeling constipated more low, okay, and you have slow motility, a lot of times that can be postural problems affecting the circulation around the liver and the right side of the intestine, and things just kind of get trapped down low. And it's that, that low hang that you get after, a big Thanksgiving meal or something. And, this can be irritating because you need to undo your belt. And everyone's been there where you just have too much good food and you got to loosen the belt up. And even the next day, it's still giving you some troubles. So here, these are, again, times you're going to be using some electrolytes and magnesium. Okay, these are the things to help with the impulses and getting things clear through the system and mild laxative benefits. You're also going to add fiber and greens because you also want to make sure you're nurturing the probiotic system, the entire gut system. And again, abdominal massage, especially on the right side and the central belly itself, works amazing. And then also throw in a little bit of lemon water because, as I said, lemon water is kind of the cure-all for almost everything. Works incredibly well, and it's just a wonderful cleaning agent. Now, don't listen to a lot of stuff online where they're having all these purported magical benefits and they try to overanalyze it. It really comes down to it's an acid. We want to neutralize the acid through gut use, through the liver and the gallbladder releasing bile, and that's it. Keep it simple. There's nothing magical about it. So now what do you do if you're doing these things? You're getting movements, but there's still times when you just feel bloated and full and irritated, and you're really not too sure what's going on. Now, at times like this, you might want to look medically, of course, if you have concerns about, inflammatory markers like Crohn's or colitis or things like that. But sometimes it's just a matter of trying to clear out the system and get things moving a little bit better. So one of the things I recommend is just kind of doing a little bit of a reset. Now, resetting a gut is a pretty simple process because the practical solution on that is just clearing the gut from irritation. It's relatively simple. And some of the things we want to do is minimize some of the crap food that we're eating. So you want to minimize, store-bought food, try to focus on whole processed foods, just like, Mediterranean diet is a fantastic option. Okay. Second, we want to take a look at some intermittent fasting if it suits you. Okay. If you have some pathological concerns like diabetes and stuff, that's when you'd want to maybe hold back or do very short-term small amounts. So, and what I mean by intermittent fasting is a lot of people don't realize that everyone intermittent fasts on a regular basis because we go to sleep at night. So that's about 8 hours of non-eating. So we're fasting in those times, hence the term breakfast, which is breaking the fast. So when you do intermittent fasting, you can just increase it a couple hours and work with your own levels to see how your comfort is and start changing and altering how your food is in those time frames. Basically reducing the eating window to give your gut a little bit of a break. Okay. Abdominal massage, again, works wonderful, but this time we can use some castor oil. Castor oil is a little bit of a laxative again, but also is wonderful for cutting down some of the inflammation and helping keep good mobility of the soft tissue in the different layers of your belly. Now, what else can you do in addition to those things? A lot of times it's resetting it, taking away some of the irritation. So we want to put some basic nutrients in the system, again, so we're going to look at probiotics, we're going to look at the greens, we're going to look at fiber, and again, we're going to look at electrolytes. Those are the big things that are going to add a lot of function back into your gut system, clear out some of that irritation, and help with the absorption back to normality. So this is one of the things I use. I'm putting this in here because you guys got to know about this. Buy it or not, it doesn't matter to me because you can get any of these products at a health food store. But this is the one that I personally like. It's just a 5-day drop. It's a 5-day comprehensive meal plan, step-by-step guide for helping to reduce your gut and dropping that bloating weight. It works incredibly well for some really rapid weight loss. So when that weight loss occurs, it's not going to be fat. It's not supposed to be fat because nobody loses fat that quickly. But we're going to be focusing on two things: inflammation and fluid retention and poop. just more poop, want to get it out of the system. So this is the one that I like because it kind of hits all those markers and all those concerns and considerations that works well. The price point is pretty good because this is going to last much longer than 5 days, but the plan is 5 days, give it a break, get your gut system moving and free itself up. Thankfully, it's also on special sale right now with mental health multivitamin, all free because we're offering a special deal if you buy it online. So it's wonderful. It comes at a great price, so you can offer it online and take a look at it if you're interested. Besides that, there's a lot of simple things that we could be doing on a regular basis when it comes to promoting our gut system. And it doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be painful, and it doesn't need to be entirely life-changing. It should just be small, comprehensive changes that you can do on a daily basis to make a better health for your system.